Medihill founder Dr. Swarup Mishra dismisses Health Committee report calling for his investigation, saying the findings are premeditated. Stephen Munyaho, man sentenced to death in Saudi Arabia, jets back home after 13 years on death row. You're in safe pair of hands tonight with Laura Omondi on the sign language interpretation. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get this show started. We kick it right off from the capital city, where ODM party has constituted a 10-member technical committee to work jointly with counterparts from the United Democratic Alliance UDA to oversee the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed last year. The party has officially declared its full support for the Kenya Kwanza administration, pledging to work with President William Ruto in implementing the broad-based government agenda. In a resolution passed on Tuesday, the party's Central Committee, chaired by its leader Raila Odinga, the leadership affirmed its commitment to promoting national stability and addressing citizens' concerns through constitutional and democratic means.
The party supports the position that has been taken by party leader Honorable Raila Odinga to work with the Kenya Kwanza administration to stabilize the country and create an enabling environment for Kenyans to address their concerns through democratic and constitutional means. Number two, that in order to expedite the implementation of the 10-point agenda of the MOU, ODM will constitute a technical team to work with our UDA counterparts as part of the political infrastructure to assist with the implementation of the agreement. The committee has identified the absence of such a technical committee, which is actually contained in the MOU, as the missing link in the implementation of the MOU. Of great concern is the full implementation of the NADCO report, promotion and protection of the livelihoods of young people, the right to peaceful assembly and protest, the rule of law and constitutionalism, corruption and wastage of public resources. Thirdly, that while the party acknowledges the allocation of 415 billion to counties in the current financial year as an improvement on the previous disbursement, we will continue pushing for the raising of the allocation to a minimum 450 billion Kenya shillings or more, as had been proposed by party leader Raila Amolo Odinga. Fourthly, that the party continues to demand the implementation of the unbundling of all devolved functions and the requisite and constitutionally sanctioned resources to the counties. Number five, that the party supports calls for an intergenerational national conclave to deliberate on the issues affecting the nation with particular focus on youth agenda and agree on a way forward. Number six, that the party will continue with grassroots elections and programs for the ODM at 20 celebrations as part of the process of regeneration, reorganization and internal strengthening.
A Nairobi court has ordered Naivasha Member of Parliament Jane Kihara to be charged with offensive conduct likely to cause a breach of peace under Section 94(1) of the Penal Code. Kihara is accused of uttering offensive words during a public gathering in Nairobi on July 8, 2025, with the intent to provoke violence. Magistrate Ben Makekubi ruled that the charge sheet met the constitutional threshold for framing charges, stating that the MP understood the nature of the allegations before the court. Ekubi ordered Kihara to plead to the charges, and following the ruling, Kihara's legal team, led by Senior Counsel Kalonzo Musyoka and Advocate Ndegwa Njiru, objected to plea taking and requested 14 days to file a constitutional petition challenging the charges.
Kuna hatia yoyote ambayo ilitolewa na ile charge sheet ilipatikana ama ililetwa kotini, na kwa sababu yale mambo ambayo Mheshimiwa Jane Kihara alikuwa amesema serikali imeleta majambazi Naivasha wakuja waangamize biashara za Naivasha, na hao watu hawajulikani, na mtu mmoja alikufa na wengine wako hospitali. Kazi ya mbunge wa Gatanga, kazi yangu ni kurepresent na oversight watu ambao wanipatia kura.
She was talking on behalf of the people of Naivasha, she was also a witness, an eyewitness of seeing goons transported in a vehicle belonging to the government and particularly NYS. And therefore, by stating a fact, you cannot be declared a criminal. And we want to say that if every single thing said in this country is going to be criminal, I have told the courts that we are going to have so many cases that there will be not enough courts to try them, and we cannot open such gates.
I've not heard who I incited, because I remember when I said what I just heard now, I was talking to you people. It was a presser. So I don't know who I incited. So I thank my lawyers. Thank you very much, team. Aluta continua. Tutaendelea kwa sababu mimi nimekuwa pale. This shooting of Sunday, I was still in that convoy.
A week after the Investigative Committee on Tissue and Organ Transplant Services handed over the report to Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale, where they recommended Dr. Swarup Mishra, the founder of Medihill Hospital, and 3 other employees of the facility be investigated for the potential criminal involvement in organ trafficking, Dr. Mishra has defended himself and dismissed the findings of the committee, which he claims were premeditated. The former KSS member of parliament, who was in the company of his lawyers, says the committee findings did not in any way find proof that points to commercialization of organ transplant at the facility.
The foreign donors, that is 2 types, African and non-African. Non-African are from Asia and Europe. They came with their donors, that no money and transaction or commercialization is involved, and which is affidavit and legal consent has been done. Number 2, the donors from other African countries apart from Kenya, they brought their own donors. If Mishra and Medihill is really culprit, we carry the cross.
We are very aggrieved at the way the committee seems to have approached this thing with a premeditated mind, with a mind to make adverse comments about Medihill, and we are aggrieved at the way they singled out Medihill as compared to all other institutions.
Student leaders from tertiary institutions in Mombasa are demanding action from the government to solve the puzzle on higher education funding. They say that the current module of allocation of funds is incoherent with the needs of students. Speaking during a press briefing in Mombasa, Justus Kimutai Koech, president of the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, said the government should heed to the demands of the students, highlighting the pains of the cost of fees and upkeep which have become unsustainable. The council's deputy president, Cecilia Gishoro, echoed his sentiments, saying proper legislation should be at the core of resolving the funding dilemma, as the longer it takes, the more students derail their studies.
People are differing from schools because of this. We are paying the same amount of fee that we've been paying since. You passed through this education sector, mulipitia system. And now, munataka kutuoppress because nyinyi mulishavuka. Our MPs wametufail. Iyo na hata sita fadhali, wametufail. Policy makers wametufail. These people are doing their own things so that ikisha umana, they now come to ground and harmonize. We are not waiting for that kuumana. Please, when you are making these policies, kujeni kwa ground, mtu consult, mtu skize, engage us, tufanye kitu mzuri, na pia sisi hatalalamika. Failure to do so, pia sisi tutalalamika. And that's why we are telling you, we are giving you an ultimatum of 3 weeks. Kujeni ground mtusikize. Musikize shida zetu. Musikize, kwa nini help imekwama? Saizi kuna hii badge number 5260 something. Hiyo badge number saizi imekuwa nullified.
The help allocation and the help disbursements do not get to us in time. It is affecting our studies. As currently we are here, most of the students are affected. They can't sit for their examinations because their help disbursements didn't get in on time. Upkeep money is being sent in selective capabilities. What are the other students who depend on help are going to do? I want you, all the policymakers, to note that we are protected under the sovereign power of the Constitution. Education is a right that is attributed by the Constitution and Article 4 and other articles in the Constitution.
Most of you, I'm 100% sure you studied through the free education model. Why? Why us? Munataka tuumie kwa nini? As you can see, we have been struggling to pay school fees, and yet the little that we have been holding on to, you want to slash it. I just want to ask you, why?
The solutions that we are requesting for as student leaders is that our MPs, can you consolidate the funds? MPs have CDFs, governors have CDFs, women reps, NGAF. It's okay, they are doing good things, but it's about time we see the breakdown, not just the banners. It's about time we see the effect on the ground, not just pictures and posting banners on the social medias. My other suggestion to the government is that you should listen to all stakeholders before making your policies.
Differences between the National Police Service Commission and the National Police Service played out today in Parliament as the CEO of the National Police Service Commission, Peter Lilei, told the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee that the National Police Service, led by the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, had denied them access to police payroll records to conduct audit reviews of police officers. The two entities have been at loggerheads for years now, with the Police Service Commission, which is the police employer, complaining of a lack of cooperation from the police.
The reports that the Commission, which I'm also a member, any record, any report that it requires is mandated by the law to get from the National Police Service.
All records, including payroll. I want you to add that, including payroll. Yes.
We are open to that. They can be able to get it in time. And I have stated there that I'm also a member of that commission.
For the issues requested in this letter and this audit query, I have not been presented with the documents I asked. Inspector, we want you, especially the accounting officer, to hand over all the HR function, especially the payroll. You hand over, you don't give the commission the access, but you hand over.
President William Ruto chaired a cabinet meeting at State House, Nairobi on Tuesday, during which far-reaching policy decisions were made in key sectors including health, infrastructure, energy, and youth empowerment. A major highlight was the endorsement of the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill of 2025, which seeks to transform the health sector by eliminating entrenched impunity and malpractices. The bill seeks to eliminate systemic fraud, regulatory loopholes and conflicts of interest that have long undermined healthcare delivery and public trust. It responds to glaring gaps that have allowed unqualified and fraudulent health facilities to be licensed and to operate. This lack of clear standards, coupled with weak oversight and collusion among facilities, regulators and practitioners, has left patients vulnerable and eroded accountability. The cabinet noted that many failures in the health system were a direct result of these weaknesses. Now, the new bill establishes a unified quality assurance framework and introduces strict mandatory licensing, registration, and accreditation for all health facilities, labs, and ambulance services. My cameraman in studio is having quite a laugh after that mispronunciation. Who will tell him that these things happen, right? All right, now to even more joyous news. Stephen Munyaho, a man who was sentenced to death in Saudi Arabia Arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi at about 12:50 a.m. this Tuesday, to an emotional welcome after spending 13 years on death row in Saudi Arabia. He was received by Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Korir Sing'oei, family members and government officials. Speaking briefly at the airport, Munyaho described his return as a miracle and expressed deep gratitude to the Kenyan government, the Muslim World League, and all who played a role in securing his release. His arrival marked the end of a long legal and diplomatic journey during which over 129 million shillings was raised to fulfill the court's requirement for his freedom.
Good morning. My name's Stephen Bertrand Munyaho, aka Steve-O, aka Abdul Karim. I'm glad to be back home in Kenya. My presence here today is nothing short of a miracle. And I want to begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life. I want also to thank everyone who prayed for me, encouraged me, and contributed towards my freedom and return home. Some of you, I know, but the vast majority, in your tens of thousands, was simply touched by my misfortune of a total stranger. I'm grateful to Allah for this second chance that I have been granted. It's wonderful to be back home.
The government has been very, very generous, very supportive in this effort. And Bona PS, we shall remain eternally grateful for your ministry's willingness to support this. But more than anybody else, we would like to thank the Muslim World League for paying the amount of money that was demanded in DIA. Yeah.
And so on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary, who is also the Prime Cabinet Secretary of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, it is really my joy and pleasure to receive Steve Munyaho home. A year ago, precisely on the 14th of May 2024, in the company of my friend Henry Minor, Mama Dorothy came to my office to plead with government to do what it could to bring Steve back home. Now, Steve's case, as you know, is a long-standing one. For 15 years, this matter had not been resolved. And so even as I told Mama Dorothy that government would do everything that it could to bring Steve back home, I honestly wasn't sure how we would do it, because the conditions for his release were pretty onerous.
Indeed, great news for the family and Kenya at large. All right, at that point, allow us to take a quick break right here on EBN Prime Edition. We'll be back shortly with more news making headlines. Do not touch that dial. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has been removed from the influential Budget and Appropriations Committee and reassigned to the Diaspora and Immigrant Workers Committee in a fresh parliamentary reshuffle. Nyoro was replaced by Mathioya Member of Parliament Edwin Gishuki, who previously held the membership of the Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. Critics have argued that the latest wave of changes is aimed at relegating legislators allied to the opposition to less powerful committees. Now to matters health, fear has gripped a village in Trans Nzoia County after one person was confirmed to be infected with the contagious Mpox disease. Health officials confirmed that the 20-year-old man from Amagoro village in Kiminini sub-county tested positive for Mpox, indicating a suspected strain of the disease. Trans Nzoia County Director of Health, Sam Ojwang, said a 20-year-old man has been put under self-isolation at home as he receives medication. Samples from other family members have also been taken for screening and sample analysis.
Ukweli ni kwamba kupitia utafiti ama analysis ambayo iliyofanywa na the National Public Health Lab kule Nairobi, baada ya sample ambao zilitumwa huko, ilithibitishwa kwamba mtoto wetu mmoja wa miaka 20 mwanaume ako na ugonjwa wa Mpox. Huyu kijana anatoka katika sub-county ya Kiminini katika ward ya Waitaluk, na hiyo ndiyo case ambayo imepatikana katika kaunti hii yetu ya Trans Nzoia. Mpox is manageable na tutaimanage. Ile kitu tu tunahimiza watu wetu kwa hii kesi moja ambayo imepatikana, jambo la muhimu si rashes zote ndio ambazo ni symptoms ni Mpox. Watu wakati mwingine wanakuwa na rashes because ako allergic to dawa fulani. Kwa mfano mtu anaweza kuwa allergic to quinine. Sasa anameza quinine ndio huyo anajikuna anakuwa na rashes. So tunataka kuomba watu wetu, si yeyote ambaye ako na rashes hiyo ni Mpox, hapana. Tafadhali lazima mtu aende kwa hospitali, apimwe, akaguliwe, ndio basi hapo hata kwa hospitali bado haitakuwa, kwa sababu lazima tena tusafirishe hizo virus ama hizo sample kule Nairobi kwa National Public Health Lab ndio uweze kudhibitishwa.
The Ministry of Health has intensified efforts to combat viral hepatitis and Mpox in the country, citing increasing infection rates and low public awareness as key challenges. Speaking in Mombasa during the commemoration of World Hepatitis Day, the Director General for Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, revealed that approximately 3% of Kenyans are living with hepatitis B and C, with the majority of cases going undiagnosed due to limited awareness, particularly in rural areas. Dr. Amoth emphasized the government's commitment to eliminating the disease through community sensitization and free access to treatment services.
The Ministry of Health is enforcing commitment through ensuring prevention of hepatitis B by use of vaccination and harm reduction programs for hepatitis C, and the centralization of testing and treatment with a focus on endemic and underserved countries. We also are working to accelerate the triple elimination agenda of HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis B in pregnant women and children. And with the launch of the Social Health Authority to ensure that healthcare financing is equitable, efficient, and sustainable, I affirm that hepatitis services will be integrated into SHA's essential benefits package, ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunazuia uambukizi, na tunafanya mpango kule pamoja na shirika la afya duniani WHO. Hapa tutakuja na program ya chanjo, na ikifika hiyo wakati tunaomba watu wajitokeze wapate chanjo ndio wapate kinga.
Akisema niko na yet over 500 people who inject drugs have been.
Bungoma County Senator David Wafula Wakoli has continued his impromptu visits to county hospitals, visiting Bokoli Hospital in Webuye West constituency. Wakoli during the visit was able to meet with the hospital management led by Dr. Bruce Oyuko, discussing emerging issues in the hospital like the lack of X-ray machines, the theatre facility which is yet to be completed and has been under construction for more than a year, and also the hospital lacking a generator which is required in key hospitals. Wakoli has called on the Bungoma County government to invest more money in the health sector in the upcoming budget estimates to reduce the problems affecting the sector.
Ndio.
Leo majira ya saa 9 nimekuja hapa katika hospitali ya kiwango cha 4 ya Bokoli kujionea hali ya maisha, hali ya wachapakazi, hali ya wagonjwa na hali ya hospitali jinsi ilivyo. Nimetembea, nimeona hakuna ua ni fence ya kutosha. Kuna maeneo, kuna mianya ambayo lazima watatengeneza. Nimeangalia baadhi ya madawa sio ya kutosha. Nimeangalia baadhi ya vyoo hapa vina shida ambavyo lazima watengeneze. Nimekuwa na kikao, wameeleza kwamba wana upungufu wa madaktari na wafanyikazi wa kusafisha hospitali. Nimejionea kwa macho kwamba hospitali haina mfumo mbadala wa umeme. Stima inapopotea hawawezi shughulikia wagonjwa. Lakini pia wamenieleza kwamba kati ya watu 100 wanaokuja hapa, watu 46 hawana vitambulisho. Hivi inaathiri uwezo wa watu wa Bokoli kunufaika na fedha za SHA. Sasa tunaomba na kuwarai watu wa Bokoli na Webuye tujiandikishe tupate vipande ili tuweze kunufaishwa na pesa za SHA jinsi hospitali zingine katika serikali ya Kenya wananufaika kwayo. Hiyo ndiyo kazi imenileta hapa, nijione, niwasikize, waniandikie chini, niende nimueleze Mheshimiwa Governor wanapofanya makadirio ya bajeti mwezi unaokuja wahakikisha wametenga fedha za kumaliza chumba cha X-ray na kununua generator. Kwa hayo mengi na Mungu
To sports, a rallying call has been made to the County of Bungoma leaders through the Ministry of Sports and other donors to intervene and help the young people develop their talents, especially during this school holiday period. Speaking in Bungoma County after the completion of the competition that brought together the youth, Anthony Baraza, who's the organizer of the competition, has accused the county's Ministry of Sports of negligence and talent neglect. Daudi Chua, who is the captain of the Chebukube team that emerged victorious in the competition, has argued that the competition aims to control drug use and early pregnancies among the youth. Daudi's statements has been echoed by Abraham Nanjala and Joshua Makata, asking the government and other donors to help them by providing training equipment such as balls, shoes, as well as training grounds.
Ministry ya Sports Bungoma County sijui inafanya kazi gani. Sasa hivi vijana wengi wako likizoni, wako nyumbani, hawana cha kufanya. Kuliko waende barabarani kubeba masufuria, tafadhali wafadhili wako hii Bungoma County wengi, kuna wanasiasa hii Bungoma County wengi, kuna Ministry ya Sports sijui inafanya kazi gani. Ijitokeze, itafute hawa vijana, ijue wanaweza fanya nini. Tournament, kuna vijana wengi sana wanapenda mpira. Ni wengi kabisa ambao wanaweza kuunda tournament kama 2 hii mwezi wa 8 wacheze, Disemba tena wakirudi hivyo hivyo, mkishikilia ma youth wataenda mbele. Sisi kama Chebukube tunaomba ufadhili tafadhali kutoka Ministry of Sports Bungoma County. Sijui minister hata anaitwa namna gani. Naomba ya kwamba hata nimujue ndio tuweze kuwasiliana, tujue Chebukube youth tunaendelea namna gani upande ya sport.
Tunache talent za hao youth. Kuna youth wengi wanajiuze kwa maana ya mihadharati. Wanajua kwa maana ya mihadharati kwa ajili hawana kitu ya kufanya. Lakini sisi tumeanzisha kitu ambayo hii kitu inafanya mtu mind yake iweze kuwa idol. Wanataka wafanye kazi, tuoneshe talent zao na kupitia kwa haya tutapata mtu mmoja hata kwa Manchester City. Na hii tulikuwa na klabu ya Chebukube. Hii klabu ilikuja kaangua kwa ajili hatuko na wafadhili.
Pamoja na Mheshimiwa Lusaka ambaye amesimamia kaunti yetu waweze kutusaidia na rasilimali zote za michezo. Wizara ya michezo pia itusaidie, tushikamane, tushika vijana wetu hao wenye tunaita majenzi, hao ndio youth. Unajua watu waelewi jenzi ni nini? Jenzi ni hao mayouth. Tukiwashika na wengine waingie kwa uwanja, utapata kwamba inji yetu itaenda mbele na watafurahia sana. Siku kama ya leo tumefishika vijana wengi ambao wangekuwa sasa maybe wameenda kwa dawa za kulevya, wengine wamengekuwa kwa group mbaya ambazo labda hata zinapatikana zimeunda mambo na maandamano kusumbua maybe serikali.
Tumecheza game, tumefurahia, tumejienjoy, at least tunaweza unda timu ya Chebukube na tunaomba wafadhili kama wako nje. Hatuna mipira, hatuna viatu, hatuna socks. Tunangoja tournament December. Wenye wamesimama maviti, MCA, waheshimiwa, tukue kama Kakamega County at least wanatoanga tournament kubwa ya December. Kwa maplayer wako Bungoma wengi sana lakini waheshimiwa wanaji talent.
All right, that wraps the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you're duly informed. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Laura Omondi. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, when God says we do.